Made me do this again, y'all. I have to redo this whole entire video because I said something and it probably triggered them. And I'm going to say it again. So if they don't like it, that's tough. But Steph Curry has beat all of their guys. LeBron, James Harden, AD, Dame. All these guys they marketed more than Steph. They put these guys on pedestals. They promote these guys and treat them like they're all-time greats. None of them changed the game of basketball. No, none of these guys have embodied what this is all about. This guy has to carry the torch of being disrespected more than anybody I've probably ever seen in basketball. And it makes no sense that everybody is oblivious to what is obviously there, the disrespect of Steph Curry. It is clear and concise for the world to see on the biggest stage in the world. They embarrass this man constantly when no one has done what he's done in this sport. When the game was designed, it was never designed for a little man to be the face. It was always designed for the center. All the centers were the big stars of the league. You know, they had Bill Russell, Kareem, Moses Malone, uh, Wilt. These were the giants. But they did the same thing to Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Lloyd Thomas III from Detroit. The man who outplayed Bird, Magic, and Jordan. And still didn't get the recognition, still didn't get the respect he deserved. In 1986, they took his MVP award and gave it to Larry Bird again because Magic and Bird is what they wanted to promote, and he was better. I saw a better player, better than Michael Jordan, better than Magic Johnson, better than Larry Bird, and it was Isaiah Thomas. But he was 6'1". He's really five. He's really 6 foot on the nose, but they listed him as 6'1". But I could swear to you, me and Isaiah is the same height, and I'm 5'11". So they listed him as 6'1", and he's definitely one of the most iconic players to ever play in this league, and the greatest player to ever play the game. And they couldn't even accept that. They couldn't. You know what they say? In such disdain and disrespect, he's the greatest little man to ever play the game. They say about Isaiah Thomas. And you look at Steph Curry, and they'll say, oh, this is the greatest shooter of the game. But they won't mention him as the greatest player of the game. One of the greatest players to play this game. You see, he was the accident that the NBA never accounted for. He wasn't scouted. He wasn't touted to be the face of the league. They was like, oh, he's a guy that'll come to the league, play a couple years, and fizz out. You know, another son of a former player who was just a role player. Steph will play a role. He'll play the point. Won't be as significant. He won't do what he did at Davidson. You know, that's why he went to Davidson, and he wouldn't have made it at Carolina. And, it was always a negative. Every bit of success Steph has had was met with negativity, never with positivity. The man turned over the entire league right at the change of one commissioner for another commissioner. And like I said again on the first video that they probably took it down and muted me for. Stu Jackson was supposed to be the commissioner of the NBA, not Adam Silver. I've already put that video out there so you guys can see that. He shadowed David Stern for more years than Adam Silver. Adam Silver was automatically pushed because he's Jewish. And Stu Jackson isn't. That's my belief, and that's the reason you took that video down, then okay. But I'm saying it again. So I don't see what the problem is. The disrespect of Steph Curry is one of the greatest travesties in this sport because that guy is a hooper. That guy cares about basketball. He's not just somebody that's just shoot a bunch of threes. He shattered all-time records early in his career. Within 10 years, he has the three-point record. Within 10 years, he will be in the top 10 scoring by the time it's all said and done. And they never give him his credit. He's completely changed the game. Not everybody's going to look like LeBron. Not everybody's going to be 6'9", 240, running up and down the court. But little kids and everybody, they see Steph Curry. He's 6'4". He's really 6'3", but they list him at like 6'4", but these people see him as the small guy on the court to these giants. And they think that's them when they're on the court. And then Steph Curry makes them feel like they can win. That's his selling touch. Is his passion for the game. And he's good. He's damn good. He works on his game constantly. I don't make my videos for Steph Curry to see them. For the guys like, oh, you just want Steph Curry. He ain't gonna he's not gonna watch it, bro. Like you guys are clowns. I don't do that for admiration of the athlete. I'm saying it for my own accord. I'm saying it because it needs to be said. I'm saying it because that's the point that needs to be mentioned. I'm saying it because that's how I feel. Now, another thing that they did after Steph Curry comes in and turns the league upside down, they had no choice but to pay attention to them. LeBron James wasn't even the agenda anymore. Once in 2015, and he was going to Cleveland again, and Adam Silver was taking over, all of this new momentum of who they were going to go up against was supposed to be the Clippers. The Clippers were the team, Lob City. They were the ones everybody was looking at as the big dogs. The Spurs, they've had their run, but they'll be in contention. But San Antonio versus the Clippers, those were the two top teams. Lob City, Chris Paul, those guys are in there, they're running it. And all of a sudden, they get eliminated out of nowhere. And after the 2014 run, the very next year, 2015 hits, and Steph Curry just comes out of nowhere and lights the league up. The Warriors are now ready, and they're beating teams heavily. Steph Curry is the only player in history to win 73 games in a season and had sat out the most fourth quarters in NBA history. They were beating teams so bad that Steph Curry wouldn't even play in the fourth quarter. He sat out the entire fourth quarter. I can't tell you the amount of number it is off the top of my head, but it's an NBA record. That's probably never going to be broken. because they changed the style of play. The game was fast. It was run and gun, and they couldn't keep up. So other teams had to run to teach their other teams to play like Golden State. Here's what you don't understand, and what makes Steph Curry so great is that he's such an off the ball player. He's like Reggie Miller, but with better handles and smaller. Steph will curl to get the ball to not only shoot, he's a threat to pump fake, put the ball on the ground, cross you, get to a point, and find an open score. Where Reggie was to get the ball, catch and shoot. He wasn't really going to cross you or beat you with his ball handling skills. He didn't have a lot of turnovers to not have the ball handling skills of like an Isaiah and the rest of these guys. But what Reggie could do was shoot the ball better than anybody at that time from three. He was very accurate, long, lanky shooter. And Steph is just a different dynamic altogether. But Reggie would run you through picks all night long, and so does Steph. That's how his advantage is. You're gonna have to keep up with me. So no one's gonna be more in shape than Steph Curry. He's gonna work out constantly. He's gonna make sure. He's gonna keep his endurance up. He's gonna put the work in. So he's gonna be bouncing off picks, and he's gonna knock down shots. And once you think you've honed in on him, boom, here comes Clay. Bang. You're down 4. Next thing you know, you're down 20. And it's just 40 seconds off the clock. And you're like, what has just happened? I'm confused. How are they doing this? And you're trying to slow the game down so you can catch your breath. And they just running like gazelles, even Draymond. They changed the style of play. Everybody had to learn to play fast. To beat the Golden State Warriors, you have to play fast. You have to be more physical and you have to be fast. And if you can't keep up, you get squashed. You get ran right over. That offense was too dangerous. They could just break out at any time. And it's a rally. Steph Curry changed the game. Now, Steph is the biggest thing in your sport, and you treat him and marginalize him as if he's expendable. Why? To promote a player who's 40 years old, holding on to yesteryear of what used to be, and just like so long in the tooth, everybody sees that he's the problem on the team and he needs to go, but he wants to milk it. So everyone's stuck dealing with it. And the Lakers know, hey, it's as long as they're making money marketing, they don't care. Why would they? They're earning. So why would they care what happens if they're earning money off of everything he's doing? Now, how many times have we seen in this game of basketball these guys get together and sit there and argue and they say something stupid like, well, I don't know. I think he's making a claim now for Mount Rushmore. Steph Curry won one game last week and they start talking about Steph Curry. I think we need to put him on Mount Rushmore now. Because he won a regular season game, you sound like a goddamn idiot. Because he won a regular season game, we got to put people on a pedestal. I mean, that was insulting for Steph Curry because we should not even be using the word Mount Rushmore. That is the most ESPN bull crap I've ever heard in my life. Now, here's the problem with that. Mount Rushmore. So you're gonna put four people right there, right? Now, my problem with the whole situation is definitely constantly the same problem. And you might say, well, what's your same problem that you have? The same problem I have is the situational flux. Everybody wants to praise LeBron James. And when he plays bad, they criticize Steph Curry. Why we don't hold Steph Curry to the same standard? And if Steph Curry wins a game and he's playing well, and LeBron James isn't playing well, then they go to Kawhi Leonard. Oh, well, nobody said nothing to Kawhi. And this is weird to me that the people who do this are LeBron James apologists and fans. So that makes it even more dumb and stupid because LeBron has a bad game. And how is that the fault of Steph Curry? Why does Steph Curry should be faulted for all the stuff he's doing wrong? Or we should come down on him because LeBron James lost or is looking bad. Why they can't never deal with the situation at hand. The real problem is him. He's the common denominator each year of what's wrong. They get new players, and the new players are like, I can't work with this guy. All he does is blame and complain when he's not going to play defense himself. We got to play zone to keep up with him. And because he has no moves and he's stationary, I have to just come down and stand in a spot like a robot until he gets jammed and wants to throw a ball to one of us. Then we got to just pull up and hit the three, you know, while we're covered because we're going to be covered. So it was easier to defend Michael Jordan in those early years if you kept him in a half court game and kept him shooting jump shots only, you know, and he'll get hot doing that just like anyone else would get hot, right? But when it comes to LeBron, he wants every advantage, he wants every situation to lean in his favor. So that becomes the narrative or the norm or whatever you want to call it when he's involved in the situation. Now, Steph Curry, once again, Shannon Sharp is trying to throw Steph under the bus. And Shannon said, well, Stephen A., I think that, we got to look at the situation. They always hold LeBron to a standard that they don't hold Steph Curry by. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair that we hold the same. What criteria do we hold to Steph Curry? He just won the NBA championship the previous year when you guys won a doggone bubble cup and celebrated it like an NBA championship. So they'd rather spend millions and millions of dollars on something fake. That's how I see the situation going. That's how I see the combination of ego, sickness, and betrayal. That's what I see when I look at these people's faces. I've never seen. I've never seen the type of betrayal that other people have seen laid out like I've seen towards Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry, the reason why other players and these other analysts don't understand. They keep trying to say, "Oh, no one was checking for the Warriors to do anything this year." Why wouldn't you check for the Warriors to do anything this year? They just won a championship the year before. They got robbed out of the second round to the Lakers when the league had them shoot free throws all damn game, made it very unwatchable for anyone sitting at home. So my thing was, when did they do something right about covering the sport for Steph Curry? Steph Curry wasn't supposed to, and the Warriors weren't supposed to get hot towards the going into the playoffs where they came alive and just started wiping teams out. They beat the Kings surprisingly, and then from that point it was on. Now, everyone who believes in all these magical fairy tales about how other people are pulling the strings, well, this would be one of those reasons where you might say, hey, there might be some truth to what he's saying there because this is kind of crazy. Why would they treat Steph Curry like this? This guy is their league. They treating Steph Curry like he's on his way out. We need to get away from Steph Curry and go into a whole another avenue. Why would you get rid of a guy who's selling your sport as the good guy, babyface? Like if this is a wrestling thing, he'd be the babyface. So to say Steph Curry, which he is, he's better than LeBron James. He's a better absolute basketball player than LeBron. He's done everything LeBron has done in less time. And we're not talking about family stat padding BS. I just think at this point, it's about more fatherhood than anything. Steph is a family man. He doesn't cause any trouble. His wife is a chef. She doesn't cause any trouble. Neither does her show, which is not really NBA connected. Just him making gear and all these different things. And what we see on the basketball court and what other people see are entirely different things. This is a simple man, lives a very simple life. And for him to go out and do the things that he do and perform on the level that he performs at, why are these people trying to take down or humiliate or make him seem less than what he is when it's clearly a situation where we see what the problem truly is. And I'm seeing a lot of different people and their aspects of what they desire or what they believe is the next best thing. They want to move on to the next best thing from Steph Curry so quick. Now let's look at the elephant in the room that we have not addressed. And that is the fact that a lot of people have pointed to the fact that Steph Curry is not signed with Nike and Nike has to deal with the NBA, and a large majority of the players are signed with Nike. And the fact he decided to go with Under Armour, which was a smaller company, which grew dramatically within the circle of the NBA, that Nike is not happy with the way they botched the recruitment of re-signing Steph Curry and thought, okay, this will turn into nothing. And now they're seeing the growth of that to a level that they've never expected. And now he has, which is a trend now, for players to get equity in their shoes. Not only does he has that, he has equity in Under Armour itself. So everything that's sold Under Armour, he gets paid on. Something Michael Jordan don't have, something LeBron James don't have. They do not own stock in Nike. They have no shares. So what Steph Curry has is the humility and the financial portfolio to even dwarf LeBron James because he has actual ownership. Now, LeBron James is like what you would call the frequent, like I want the headlines. I want to be in the spotlight has to be on him at all times. No matter if he's playing, is he not playing, the attention needs to be LeBron, 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 LeBron. Other people don't feel that way, such as Steph. He doesn't care if the spotlight is on him. He likes it more when they're not talking about him. But when he's mentioned on these shows, it's always in a form seem to be of disrespect. And I think that's part of the problem. Um, the dynamic loves to shift back and forth into different degrees. But they're trying to make people not like Steph Curry for some reason. I just don't understand it. I don't know if it's LeBron's media pundits or what have you, but that's the case. I mean, Nike has no control over it. The NBA is trying to make him the bridesmaid to promote their other talent when you have the guy that's going into the twilight who's in his 40-year-old style of play. I mean, his play is not appeasing to people. When they say, oh, all Steph does is shoot threes. No, he wins championships. People who just shoot threes don't win championships. No, he's an all-star player. Well, you got LeBron out here getting what we call longevity stats. If you play 21 years, yeah, eventually you're going to be near the top of the scoring record in the NBA because guys didn't play that long. Don't mean that you were better than them. If Michael Jordan played as long as LeBron James with his average of points, do you think LeBron James would be somewhere near Michael Jordan? Come on, stop it. I mean, you played 21 years, you should be somewhere near the top in assists, right? You played 21 years, you should be at the top in rebounds. If you play 21 years and, like, I'm like, are we seriously talking right now? But yet, we supposed to disrespect Stephen Curry. For what? Why come every time that guy is having failure, people got to take it out on Kawhi Leonard or Steph Curry? I mean, what do you want to talk about? He's one of the greatest shooters of the game, unanimous MVP winner, something LeBron never was. He changed the game. They can say, oh, well, it's for the better or for the worse. I mean, he changed the game. They're playing basketball over there. He can't help it that everybody's trying to mirror what they're doing to try to win games. You know, it, it's not. They don't have Steph Curry. It's like he has a unique talent. What he does, you can't really teach. Well, when you're Splash Brothers, with him and Clay, they were essentially some of the best in the game at what they were doing. And the fact that they were locked in successfully at getting things done, and growing the game of basketball from a respectful way without having to, you know, be disruptive on the court. Steph Curry don't have to get in a fight with anybody. He's appreciated for his skill set and his work ethic that they never highlight. He don't have to take his shirt off in spandex and sit over there and show himself lifting weights. He could just focus on being a great basketball player. He's just trying to win games, man. He loves the game and he does it the right way. What's there to hate about Steph Curry? I have no idea. Steph Curry is still like one of the greatest players to ever do this. Highlight reels or what the have you. So the disrespect that comes from sports media is why you need to call these guys out. Steph Curry is the reason that the league didn't go bankrupt following behind LeBron James. Because without Steph Curry, people were tired. They were absolutely tired of no, they were just completely just exhausted and tired from all of the work they did, that people were putting in. They were just tired, man. You get worn out when you do so much in your activities and your days and life, and you put all this work in, and people just get tired of all this nonsense that they feeding you. And these dudes every day they idiots. They don't know anything about the game. And then when another team starts winning and they were so expertly right, Steph Curry, he just can't facilitate. Says who? Who said that? Steph Curry can pass. Steph Curry can. I'm like, where do they get this from? What do they even watch the games? Yes, he's running through screens properly on pick and rolls. He knows how to find the guys that's cutting in the lanes. He can throw passes in different angles. He's good at finishing at the rim with either hand, left or right. That's very rare in today's basketball. You would think that's like something odd to say, like, wow, these guys can't even, they make it to the NBA and can't even use their offhand. Back in the 80s and 90s, you had to be super talented to even do that, period. Like, well, the disrespect that came from Steph and everything that he was doing was all based on the fact that Steph was essentially one of the players that was resembling what Isaiah and Joe Dumars went through, and to see that unfold, it's the same level of the autonomy of an efficient player go through such hardship because they're in the shadow of the promotion or the market of what they think the people wanted to see. Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas, no matter what kind of numbers they were putting up, no matter what kind of events they were doing, defense, offense, whatever, they were prime time to watch when they played the game. They brought in the high pick and roll, three guard rotation. Things like that have never really been seen in basketball. If it was so easy, everybody would do it. But you never really had a three guard rotation like Vinny, Joe, and Isaiah. And they changed the game. They made it about guards. So when Jordan came around, and started getting all this fame, but the guards was getting it done. You know, this is why we always say those who work hard get rewarded hard. You got to constantly work on your game. If you think Steph Curry doesn't constantly work on his game, then you're mistaken. LeBron is a shortcut artist. So, anyway, enough about that. Stop disrespecting Steph. To all you haters out there, shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life, Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez. Welcome to HD IITV, Ticket TV, The Dreamers Pro. Charles, what's up? And I'm out.